course, this is the G53 commentary for Battlefield Play4Free, but before I get started on this weapon, of course, I gotta give a few shoutouts. First shoutout goes to NF Battlefield Gamer for leaving a comment on my YouTube channel. The next shoutout actually goes to Call Me Your Leader for leaving a message on my Facebook fan page. Next shoutout goes to Black Rose Dragon for sending me a private message on Battlefield Play4Free's website. And last but not least, Ara for sending me a message on my website. Alright, with that being said, thank you guys very much, and let's continue on with the G53. The G53, or known as the HK53, is a carbine made by German firearms manufacturer Heckler & Koch. It's a variant of the HK33 assault rifle and operates similarly to the G3 battle rifle and the MP5 submachine gun. The first appearance of the HK53 in any Battlefield game was actually in Battlefield 2's expansion, Hero Forces. The HK53 is also in Battlefield 3, and now the G53 has made its way into Battlefield Play4Free. The total amount of bullets you get with the G53 is 116, and that's 29 bullets per magazine, which makes this base gun have the most bullets in total out of all the guns available for your engineer class. The reload time of the G53 is almost at 4 seconds, making it a smidgen above average for all the primary weapons in the engineer class. The G53 has the third highest bullet velocity out of the engineer class weapons. Of course, the MP5 and the MP7 take the top spot for tie in that. For the most part, the G53 does have some better than average bullet deviation. Of course, with the exception that when you're standing and using hipfire, it has the best bullet deviation out of all the primary weapons available for your engineer class. The total amount of damage the G53 can do at close range, if you're just going for body shots, tends to stay around the mid-20s in damage. Of course, if you're doing headshots at that closer range, it'll take about, it will take 2 shots to kill your enemy if you hit them directly in the head. At medium ranges, it tends to do around the low to mid-20s in damage, and if you're aiming for headshots, you can still make it in 2 shots, possibly 3 shots, depending on the medium range distance. And lastly, at farther ranges, it'll do around 13 to 17 damage if you just aim for the body, and headshots will take about 3, maybe 4 shots to do your enemy in. One of the things I like about the G53 is the fact that it does have a very smooth transition when aiming down to the iron sight, but it's a lot nicer for the simple fact that it doesn't hardly take up much of your screen, so you still have a great field of view when using the G53, as well as the really nice iron sight for being able to make longer range accurate shots quite easily, especially since it does have some pretty pinpoint accuracy for the first 3 shots, I would say, over longer ranges. Just the only thing is that that gun does have some pretty unmanageable recoil at farther ranges if you're just laying down on the trigger, so pop shots are definitely necessary. The other thing that's pretty cool about the G53 is the attention to detail. If you notice, the gun looks more war-torn and more along the lines of being a veteran status gun, which is pretty cool. It's not pristine, it's actually, got some scars and scratches here and there on the gun, which is kind of cool. The G53 is in direct competition with the AKS-74U for having the best long-range damage out of all the primary weapons for the engineer. I would say ideally the G53 is great for medium-range combat scenarios without any additional iron sights added to it, but with the correct attachments and with use of the M145 or the Desert M145 iron sight, I feel like it can be very helpful from those initial longer range firefights, which is kind of an interesting take to see a engineer class have a primary weapon that can be capable of doing that. However, I wouldn't say it's effective enough to assist with those longer range sniper fire engagements, so it's more ideal for those that actually have longer range light machine guns or longer range assault rifles. I feel that you can keep up with them a lot easier than, of course, anyone that's trying to snipe at you from extreme longer ranges. Now, of course, the base gun's recoil itself is a little bit evened out as far as the left, the right, and the vertical recoil on it, but sometimes you can find yourself a little bit frustrated with it, but once you master the gun, you'll notice that the recoil is easily manageable, especially if you use it in burst shots. Of course, the G53 can be used in offensive and defensive purposes, whether you're alone or with a group of people. but I feel like it kind of is more towards defensive role, and the reason why I say that is because of the additional range that you can get out of the gun, which is higher than average for all the other primary weapons in the engineer class. So I feel like it's more of a sit and post up weapon, and you'll kind of see that at the end of the video, especially if you get into medium range engagements. It's really good for that. Of course, this is the base gun that's being reviewed. There's no attachments or anything added to the gun. It's just the gun itself. But I feel like that this gun was actually designed for use with the M145 sight, just because of its stats. I mean, it's a different gun. It's a different type of primary weapon that the engineer uses. It's different. For the types of people I see using this gun will actually vary from rookies to veterans, because I can see a lot of people enjoying the change of pace a little bit from using the standard set of primary weapons that are good for close quarters combat, and just wanting something that's good for medium to extended long range effective combat. But especially at medium ranges, you can definitely stand on your own against some of the assault rifles as well as the LMGs that you come up against, in Battlefield Play4Free. All in all, the G53 seems to be a bit of an above-average primary weapon available for your engineer class. Nothing too extraordinary about it, I would say. But on the same token, there's nothing super bad about it either. But I do feel with the right attachments and with the addition of the M145 scope itself, it will make for a extremely decent medium to long range, effective gun. That's all for the G53 carbine video. I would like to give a special thanks to the LSC clan for letting me play in their server and having a grand old time and fun and doing this recording. So I'm going to start doing that. Any server that I play and record, I'm going to try and give shoutouts to that server I play in, because usually the servers I play in have good people. So with that being said, I will see you guys next time.